Should you buy a Porsche 996 or a 997? In the current market, a used Porsche 996 with lower mileage will cost about the same as a 997.1 with a little bit higher mileage. So with the 996, you'd be getting a car with, say, 50,000 miles, right around that range. With the 997.1, it'd be about 80,000 miles. You'd probably pay about $24,000 for the 996 versus 26, 28, right in that range for the 997.1. So this is part one of a two-part video series about which to buy, whether it's the 996 or 997. In this video, we're going to talk about why you should buy a 996 over a 997. But if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. That way you won't miss the next video and you'll get notified of when that comes out. And for reference, a 996 was produced between the model years 1999 and 2004, and a 997.1 was between the years 2005 and 2008. So there are three reasons why you should buy a 996 instead of a 997.1. Reason number one, the cable-driven throttle body. The earliest cars, the 1999 cars and some of the 2000 cars, used a cable-driven throttle body. You can't get this at all in a 997. You can't get them in all 996s. A lot of them use the e-gas, which is electronic. But in a 996 early car, you can get that very, very analog driving feel by having the cable-driven throttle body. This has made some of the earlier cars actually go up in value a little bit more, especially if they're spec'd right. If you get a coupe with a 6-speed, and especially if it doesn't have a sunroof, those cars are fetching almost $26,000 for a good lower mileage example. Here's reason number two, a serviceable IMS bearing. In the 996, you have an IMS bearing that can be replaced. The 997s don't. Well, you can replace it, you just have to do an engine rebuild. You have to take apart your engine to get to that IMS bearing. Now, the earliest 996 IMS bearings are the dual row bearing, similar to this 986 because it's a 1999. So most 911s that are from 1999 and some 2000s, I believe a little bit even in the 2001s, have the dual row bearing. The dual row bearing has a much lower rate of failure, and as such, because it has a lower rate of failure, when there was the IMS bearing class action lawsuit, the dual row bearings actually had a low enough rate of failure that they weren't named in the lawsuit. The big ones are the single row bearings. Now, the bearings used in the 997 do seem to be better bearings. They seem to last a little bit longer, but the thing is, you won't be able to sleep at night with a 997 knowing that your IMS bearing isn't a ticking time bomb, because if it goes out, hey, you got to take apart the engine anyways to do it. You're rebuilding the engine basically no matter what in order to replace that internal IMS bearing. So most of the time, if you get that early 997, you're just going to have to hope it doesn't go on you. If you are looking to buy a 996, check to see if the IMS bearing has been replaced with a retrofit. Use that as a bargaining chip, because you'll be able to take some off the price. Say, it's going to cost me about $2,000 to get the IMS bearing replaced, and you haven't done it. So if I offer you $2,000 less, will you take it? And a lot of people will, because they're afraid of it themselves. If they haven't done it already, that might be one of the reasons why they're thinking of selling the car. And here's reason number three, the pure sports car feeling. The 996 still retained a lot of the pure sports car feeling that the earlier 911s had, not as much of a GT car. Now with the 997, they started to really start taking the turn to being more of a GT car. Great cars, able to perform incredibly, styling awesome, but they're really made for eating up miles at huge speeds and not necessarily for the sporty driving. The sporty driving is the reason why some owners that have had a 986 Boxster or 987 Boxster and then eventually bought a 997, 911 or a 991, it's not uncommon to hear people say, you know, I kind of miss the sporty feeling. Yes, the 911's more powerful. Yes, it's a lot of fun, but the Boxster is more of a sports car, and the 996 in the 911 provides that similar feeling. And getting to that pure sports car feeling, that also has to do with it doesn't have as many of the nanny systems. A lot of those are less common. The infotainment system's an antique. A lot of them don't even have infotainment systems at all. So really it depends on what you want. Do you want more of a GT car? Then the 997's it. But if you want a pure sports car and one that you can service the IMS bearing, which is huge, then 996 is your better option. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Not only will that make sure you don't miss our next video about the 997 versus the 996, but also with every subscription, a donation will be made in your name to the Buy a Middle-Aged Man a 911 Fund. His name's David, and that car will be in my garage. And now get down in the comments and let us know, would you buy a 996 or a 997.1? What would you put in your garage? And if you haven't already, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. We're not going to talk about the thumbs down button, just forget it exists. And for everyone who's already a subscriber and a regular watcher of my videos, thanks very much. Thanks for all your support. You really do make this possible and fun, and we'll catch you next time.